News 4 San Antonio at 10. We're here for you.
Tonight, a third arrest in the capital murder case of Savannah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and their unborn baby. The evidence that led police to this suspect and what Guerra's parents hope come next for the accused killer. And although the weather is nice right now, an Arctic blast is headed for Texas. But is CPS Energy ready with the power? We take your concerns to the utility company, and we look at the confidence City Council has that the lights will stay on. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Mandy Noel. Lot to talk about. It was a beautiful day, but we've got major changes ahead of us from strong Arctic cold that is headed our way. Here's Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan with more on our first weather obstacle ahead.
Yeah, and that's going to be wind and then the Arctic cold that rolls in. And the Arctic cold, let's start there. It is just now crossing into Montana and North Dakota. You see those temperatures now in the single digits. Of course, we expand the view, and there you can see the big pool of it. I mean, it's almost 50 below zero in some cases here. That's the air temperature, not the wind chill, and that is heading south. So the first obstacle we'll deal with is that cold front. It's not an Arctic front, and it arrives on Friday, early before you get up Friday, and it is going to bring some powerful wind. So it's a breezy afternoon tomorrow. These are wind gusts, 15 to 25. But check it out here on Friday. That's around midnight as the front's out west coming into Valverde County. Let's take this into sunrise, and you can see gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour, maybe even over 50 miles an hour. So the damaging wind potential with that front, much like we saw a couple of days ago. And then that Arctic cold, new information on it. Looks like it's coming in faster. We're going to talk about that and the potential for a wintry mix in our area in about 15 minutes.
Operators of the Texas Power Grid are telling customers their electric service may face some challenges in the week ahead, but ERCOT wants to stay positive with its messaging this week. Monday morning, ERCOT posted it is monitoring the weather and grid conditions are expected to be normal. But the same afternoon, they posted an operating conditions notice. It warns power providers that an extreme cold weather event is ahead for the region next week. Today, ERCOT posted a weather watch telling customers it expects extreme cold, higher electrical demand, and the potential for lower reserves, but that the grid is expected to hold.
We have a little bit over 4,000 megawatts, as I understand, in our current system right now, with about 8,000 on the horizon, which could be more, according to Romney Stats. We could have, 14,000 gigs in the next year.
Although ERCOT says it expects normal conditions, News 4 San Antonio's Amanda Henderson tells us not everyone is convinced.
Right now, the weather is picture perfect. The weather in a few days, though?
I think it's gonna be pretty chilly, isn't it?
It sure is. Our meteorologists have been tracking the latest Arctic freeze. Near record low temperatures are projected to hit our area late this weekend.
I don't think that we've gone through a spell like it was that when all this fiasco happened.
Melva Alonso Bernal says power is essential for her and her dogs.
I am reduced to space heaters. If I were to lose power, I would just pack everyone in the car and turn the car on.
The deadly winter storm in 2021 left many questioning grid reliability. Our most recent concern came last August, when power outages nearly happened.
Should we see that worst case scenario where these rolling blackouts and brownouts last more than a couple of hours, who is that first call to?
That first call has to be to the state and say, now what? What are we going to do? How are we going to improve this?
We went back to City Hall to see how communication has been since August with local and state leaders.
That the communication between my office and CPS, or my office and SAWS, has been amazing.
How has it been with our state partner when it comes to ERCOT?
From my perspective, I haven't seen a difference.
ERCOT did not answer our questions about how they're communicating with city energy companies, emphasizing grid conditions are expected to be normal. CPS Energy tells us they have crews on standby and submitted a required plan to ERCOT. In short, if there's an issue, city leaders are confident in local communication.
We are told that CPS communicates regularly with ERCOT, so we get our information from CPS Energy.
Our city staff, Public Works, they are in communication with our public utilities. They're monitoring the situation.
And so if there's an opportunity or if there's something to communicate, we will be doing that.
If the weather gets as bad as it could get, there'll be communication from each of the different council offices as well as from City Hall.
Yeah, the communication with CPS is tight. We are working very closely with them.
And just like Chris has been saying, this is not expected to be a repeat of 2021, but the city does want to stay on top of it. So they're finalizing details on some winter plans, and we'll have those details for you as soon as they're provided to us. Meanwhile, in pre-preparation, they have been going to doors to leave door tags about winterization, as well as checking in on the most vulnerable populations. Reporting in San Antonio, I'm Amanda Henderson.
We shift to new developments now in the capital murder case of Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra. Tonight, San Antonio police have arrested a third person connected to their murders. 47-year-old Mirta Romanos. According to the arrest affidavit, her gun was used in the murders. She's believed to be the stepmother of the alleged murderer, Christian Preciado, and Ramon Preciado Jr.'s wife. Ramon is Christian's father. He is accused of helping Christian move the bodies. According to SAPD, Romanos is the final suspect in this case.
We were able to develop information from surveillance video that shows Miss Romanos involved the night of the murder. That video surveillance shows her at the home right after the murders, and she was seen on video surveillance leaving in that black truck that we all saw on the surveillance video, and then returning to her home with Christopher and Ramon in that truck.
Romanos will be charged with 3 felonies: altering, destroying, or concealing a human corpse, abusing a corpse, and tampering with evidence. SAPD believes all suspects are now in custody.
As of right now, are you under the impression there are any more suspects?
At this time, we're confident that there's no more suspects. At this time, we're confident that these were the 3 individuals that were involved in this case.
Police would not say where the murders of Guerra and Soto happened, except that they know it was in the area of the suspect's home.
Melissa Vega at the live desk. Happening right now. We are still waiting on the official booking photo from the Bexar County Jail of Mirta Romanos, but we do have some new video coming into our newsroom tonight at the magistrate. Our cameras capturing Romanos in the very preliminary stages of her criminal proceedings. Again, she is facing 3 charges, including abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and altering, destroying, or concealing a human corpse. All 3 felony charges, each with their own bond set. And we learned just a short time ago those 3 bonds total to more than $1 million. Of course, as soon as we get her arrest photo, she's currently still going through the process of getting booked into the Bexar County Jail. We will share that with you. That is the latest from the live desk. Mandy.
Just one day after laying his son to rest, Matthew Guerra's father says this latest arrest is right on time. News 4 San Antonio's Stephanie Esquivel tells us the third arrest opens the door to justice and closure.
Call me Pops. And just the smile he would put on my face.
An excruciatingly painful time for Matthew Guerra's father, Gabriel, just one day after Matthew's burial and seeing his unborn grandson, Fabian, for the first time.
It's not the way I wanted to meet Fabian, but most definitely, get to seeing him, and he looked like Savannah, and just him being on top of Matthew and being close to Matthew, it meant the world to me.
A third arrest in connection with the young family's killing is made.
Perfect timing with God, and just giving me comfort or something to help me during a difficult time.
Gabriel says he wants the harshest punishment possible for the third suspect, Mirta Romanos, who is accused of helping to cover up the crime. But Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez says adding additional charges doesn't seem likely right now.
I certainly understand why the family would like to see others, the parents, for example, charged with capital murder, but the law requires that we have some evidence of that.
Regardless of the charges or punishment, Gabriel says he's relieved that police found the evidence needed to arrest Romanos, because the other 2 suspects, Romanos' husband Ramon Preciado and her stepson Christopher Preciado, were not telling the entire truth.
They were trying to protect her from being arrested, like trying to take the blame for everything and not including her.
Stephanie Esquivel, News 4 San Antonio.
We will continue to follow this ever-developing story for you. You can stay up to date with us at news4sa.com. You can follow our News 4 social media pages or download our News 4 app. Just search WOAI in your app store. A former employee accuses a well-known charity of wasting huge amounts of food, some of it paid for with your tax dollars. The News 4 I-Team got pictures taken by that worker showing entire meals, fruit, milk, and other items thrown into dumpsters at the charity's San Antonio location. The organization is paid millions by the city and county to provide meals for seniors and those in need.
It's heartbreaking to know that all these meals get thrown away.
Why would your organization throw out food like that?
Why this food ended up at the landfill at a time when so many families struggle just to buy groceries. The I-Team investigation is tomorrow night at 10 on News 4. Still ahead, and then there were two. It's not the debate stage many predicted. Just days before the first caucus, the campaign drama in the race for the White House. In election news, Chris Christie dropped out of the 2024 presidential race. The former New Jersey governor shared the update during a town hall this evening in New Hampshire. His decision to exit the race removes the most high-profile and consistent critic of former President Donald Trump, who was still in the Republican primary. But it was a pivotal night at the podium for presidential candidates in the final debate before the Iowa caucus voting gets underway next week. Scott Thuman shows us how it wasn't the debate many pictured when the race first started.
Well, kind of a bizarre sight that a debate before any ballots have even been cast, and it's already narrowed down to only 3 candidates who qualified and only 2 who are willing to show up. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis squaring off and scrambling for any last-minute Iowa support. An odd scenario just 5 days before ballots are cast.
Do you believe Donald Trump has the character to be president again?
I think he was the right president at the right time. I agree with a lot of his policies, but his way is not my way. I don't think that President Trump is the right president to go forward.
He said he was going to build a wall and have Mexico pay for it. He did not deliver that. He said he was going to drain the swamp. He did not deliver that. He said he was going to hold Hillary accountable, and he let her off the hook.
An average of polls shows them trailing their collective target, Donald Trump, badly. The former president grabbing 51% of Republican Iowans, compared to 17 for DeSantis and 16 for Haley. Meanwhile, Trump again trying to steal the spotlight with his own event at the exact same time. A town hall on Fox News.
The new narrative they have, as you know, is I'm going to be a dictator. That's going to be the new narrative, because a guy like Biden, there's nothing he can run on. Everything he's turned out, it's turned out badly. The border is a disaster, the worst border in history.
And his debate absence forcing Haley and DeSantis to focus on each other and aim for what now seems to be second place.
We don't need another mealy-mouthed politician who just tells you what she thinks you want to hear just to try to get your vote, then to get in office and to do her donors' bidding.
But you're going to find out tonight that there's going to be a lot of Ron's lies that have happened. There are at least a couple of dozen so far that he's done. So what we're going to do is, rather than have him go and tell you all these lies, you can go to DeSantisLies.com.
All of this kicking off the final stretch before Iowans caucus on Monday and possibly set the tone for the rest of the campaign. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
And back to the live desk, we have breaking news to pass along, a very heartbreaking update. The former Alamo Heights School basketball player who was left paralyzed after a road rage shooting more than 10 years ago has passed away. We have been following the journey of Eddie Moreno for years, and just a short time ago, Eddie's mother taking to Eddie's Facebook page saying that her son passed away early this afternoon. She says he was undoubtedly the strongest person she'd ever known and gave it his all, and he had the very end. Just shy of 13 years, Eddie was left paralyzed during a road rage shooting back in 2011. He was only 17 years old at the time. He had a community rallying behind him, and tonight our prayers are with Eddie's family. That is the latest from the Live Desk.
Now your certified most accurate 4-zone weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan.
So I think a lot of people are getting homes prepared. For me,
yes.
I think today that looked like preparing the faucets on the
The
outside of the house?
faucets, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, airing out your irrigation
happening.
system, you know, getting the faucets ready, outdoor faucets. Those are all good
Hose.
steps.
That's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
yeah. You got to take advantage of this nice weather we have now
Yeah.
because it's coming here. Let's talk about, first of all, out there tonight.